Hello and good evening. It is Monday, December 26th. This is the Space Oats podcast. This is going to be episode 7. Um, I can't even remember what I named it. I know it's a really long name, but let me actually pull up what the title of this episode is. This is episode 7. It is entitled The First Time The Force Awakened with episode 1. So kind of going along the theming of the titles of the Star Wars trilogy matching up with my episode number. However, I am going to go backtracking, and we're going to talk a lot about the Phantom Menace in this episode. Um, so I am the Crucial Crew member. My name is Jay. If you are first time listening, thank you for joining me. I actually have the Phantom Menace on right now. And we're going to talk a good amount about a lot of amazing things tonight. So we're going to look back at the dark times in between Return of the Jedi and the Phantom Menace. I lived through those dark times because I am old enough to do so. And we're going to reminisce a little bit about that. Talk about the prequels, how much they meant to individuals like me that was, waiting for some more Star Wars. We're going to go back and look at the last 2 episodes of Willow. Since my last podcast, I had a chance to catch up on the last 2 episodes that have been released, so episodes 4 and 5. Talk about those a little bit and what my thoughts are on those episodes. And then have another crucial character pick of mine. This one's going to be from the Phantom Menace, of course. So one of those minor characters that didn't have a lot of time within the film, and just something cool, little tidbits about those characters, and some merchandise that's out there that maybe I'll be looking to pick up at some point. And then what I'm going to start off with though is a couple of gifts and unboxings that I have. First off, I just want to say that being a crew member on the Galactic Star Cruiser has been amazing. I am still a crew member, by the way, not leaving quite yet, but I am a definite fan of the Star Cruiser. So I'm always gonna talk great things about that and try to get people to come on that experience. It's an amazing experience. I work there every day. I see it. I want to go on that Star Cruiser and be a passenger at some point. And it's just a great time. And there's so many really good feelings about that. What Star Wars is available as far as being immersed in that way is outstanding. And I've met some amazing people being on the Star Cruiser as a crew member, and have made a lot of friends doing this. So let's just talk about that for a minute. So one group of individuals, and this is kind of how this all got started, the Heroes of the Halcyon. If you are a follower of them, that's amazing. If you're not, please follow the Heroes of the Halcyon. Check out their podcast. If you're not a Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser fan, you will be after listening to their podcast. They will get you excited about it. They will they'll make you want to go. So they've been on 2 trips, and they're going to be coming back in April. And if all goes to whatever plan, I will be there. If not, I hope to see them when they're in town. But so they've been amazing. They're the ones that kind of really solidified this name, the Crucial Crew member, with me. Creating an action figure card back for me and everything, and it's been a great ride. What I was not expecting is a few weeks ago I got this amazing little book from them, and it has the art of the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. Um, and it's from your friends at the Heroes of the Halcyon. And this was a real shocker to get. It was amazing. If you were listening to this podcast, a lot of my unboxing and everything, the first part of this episode is going to be a lot of visual, so you're not going to be able to see this, but the Art of Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. So the front of it just has the main Galactic Star Cruiser poster that a lot of people had received. They even gave that out at Star Wars Celebration this year. And then there was a little card in here, um, just for a thank you from the Heroes of the Halcyon Superfans podcast. So that's really cool to have that with Christine Martin and Drew's picture on there. And then looking through this, I mean, just opening it up, I was just blown away. Because the first page actually uh, basically is a big thank you for the fun, friendship, and fantastic Galactic Star Cruiser conversations in 2022. May the stars light your way. That's what I say at the end of every podcast or every live stream that I do. That is our saying on the Halcyon, one of our sayings, as our farewell greetings to individuals. And it says this book was created for, and it has my fake name, because I don't use my real name. I mean, Jay is my name. It's what I go by, but I spell it a little differently on my Facebook page and so forth. So, but then it has the Crucial Crew member. So it's dedicated to me on the front page with my picture. And then it just goes through with the concept art, the production art, all the areas of the Star Cruiser. So the terminal, the launch pod, the atrium, the bridge, the engineering room, sublight lounge, Crown Acrylia, lightsaber training, the cabins, the Batu transports, the suites, the different characters. It has production art from the character, a page on that, promotional art, different things from Galaxy's Edge as far as the attractions, posters, and so forth. Hope that mic wasn't blocking it so you couldn't hear me. Different digital wallpaper that was released, the Halcyon model, and then the last page has a page with the action figure card backs of the Heroes of the Halcyon, Martin, Christine, and Drew, with their character names and their signatures. And this is just amazing. Honestly, I couldn't be grateful enough for this. This is something that I'm actually thinking about. If I ever do decide, or if ever comes a time when I'm leaving the Halcyon, I may use this as a kind of like a yearbook for a lot of my crew to sign before I leave. I'm kind of debating that, with the characters signing, on maybe the pages that they're shown on. So as a keepsake, because I will never get rid of this. I will definitely treasure this. And yeah, and it's just amazing the friendships that you make when you are part of something so amazing like the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. So that's starting off. Amazing gift, by the way. So again, thank you to the Heroes of the Halcyon again for that wonderful gift. And I definitely treasure that friendship that we've made. So throw that over there. I don't want to lose that little card there. All right, so second thing, unboxing. So my wedding anniversary is in January, and my wife already kind of purchased my anniversary gift, and it's going to be an ongoing gift. Something that I had been debating about doing for a while now, getting one of these things, and she ended up subscribing. And of course, she wasn't going to wait, because if it's sitting around and it says Star Wars, it's obviously mine, and I'm going to go ahead and open it. So it's pretty much impossible to hide Star Wars stuff from me. But so it's these cool Galaxy boxes, and you get like random stuff sent in the boxes. So I kind of already opened it, but I didn't really look into everything yet. So I kind of wanted to open it with you guys and really go through some of this stuff and see, what is in here. So these galaxy boxes, I guess, I don't know who the company is. I think it says it on here, but yeah. So it's Culture Fly, I guess, is the name of the company, and I guess they send these out. I don't know how often I'm going to get one of these, but this is just going to be amazing. However many times I get this for the next year, so I'm going to be looking forward to these. But even the box itself is really cool. I don't even want to like get rid of this box. And kind of when you see, you'll see this is kind of really like themed as far as everything that's in this box really comes in line with just the art on the box itself. So we got the Millennium Falcon on the top of the box here, and the Millennium Falcon, and then it's got the whatchamacallit, monster, the worm thing, the slug, the space slug from Empire Strikes Back that the Millennium Falcon was inside of and then flew out. That was in the asteroid. So so that's on the cover of the box, which is really cool. Cool little art there, and then tons of little asteroids all over the place. And then we have on the back side we have the TIE Advanced, which actually is not an Empire Strikes Back, flying through the asteroid field, but and then 2 TIE fighters. But yeah, so that was kind of weird that the TIE Advanced is on there, but going through an asteroid field, because you never see anything in the films with that, but except for in A New Hope, in the Death Star trench. So open it up. So we got the Galaxy box here. So let's see what's inside. One thing that it does is it kind of gives you a little postcard. So that way, if you want to have the artwork, but you don't want to keep the box, you at least have that artwork that's on the front. So that's great, because now I don't feel pressured to keep the box. I can just go ahead and get rid of that and just keep this little card, which is really awesome. So, all right, so let's see what's inside here. I'm gonna go with the big thing first, because I have not unrolled this yet, and it looks really cool. So I was like, what the heck is this? I was like, is it a blanket, something like that? So let's untie this and see what it is here, because it's got like a little. It's nice and fuzzy, I have to say. That's one thing that it's definitely really fuzzy. So it's tied up very well. Let's move this over a little bit. So let's see here. All right, so all right. Well, I guess these are like, well, it's like one little drawstring, I guess. All right, so so it's like a, no way. Ooh, it's like a hoodie. It's a hoodie and like a robe. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is really awesome. So it's a robe. It's like a Jedi bathrobe, which is really cool. I like robes. And then yeah, so it's got the Jedi, the Old Republic Jedi Knight insignia on it, and then on the back, so let's say on the back, it says Defenders, Heroes of the Force, Jedi Knights of the Republic. So Defenders of the Republic, I guess. Heroes of the Force, Jedi Knights. So pretty cool. Almost like, I guess, like almost like a Spirit jersey thing on the back there, but really awesome. That's really cool. So yeah, it's a robe. I almost want to like put this on like right away. Size large, so that should, I mean, that's definitely gonna fit me. Be nice and big, and I can cuddle up in that. You know, I almost want to put that on right now. You know what? I think I might put that on right now. Yeah, totally gonna put that on right now. Let's put this on. I'll take this off. It is kind of cold in here. It's still like cold in Florida right now, so putting on the Jedi bathrobe. I'll forego the yeah, man, check this out. All right. And Jedi bathrobe is on. Yeah, definitely a little big, but ooh, nice and warm though. This is great. All right, cool. I'm not gonna put the hoodie up, but it does have a hoodie. You see that? Got the hoodie. Again, pretty big, but really cool. Loving it. Great. First unboxing of that was really cool. All right, so what else is in here? Let's pull this out. Cool. That's what they're called, exogorths. Exogorths. All right, so an oven mitt or cat toy, whatever you want to call it. I can see tormenting my cats with this. But yeah, so the exogorth, which is what they're called, just realize that. And then if you just noticed, I just noticed this, you open up its mouth and it's got the Millennium Falcon in it. So that's really cool. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. Oven mitt, exogorth. Don't know if I might be using this or not. We'll see. I probably will. It's going to be fun. I don't care if it really gets ruined. It's best to use things, and all that kind of stuff. What else is in here? Let's open this up. So yeah, sticking with the Exogorth Millennium Falcon theming. It's like a kitchen towel, I guess. So it's pretty cool with the asteroid. Same thing that's on the box. Again, no pressure to keep the box when you got all this cool artwork stuff. So that's pretty cool. Kitchen towel. That'll go well with the oven mat. All right, what else is in here? Here at the bottom. Pull this out. All right, cool. We got some like an art print. Pretty neat. Again, Empire Strikes Back, going with the same theming in the box with Empire, but with the Hoth battle. So the AT-ATs, I guess it almost could be like looking up from the surface, like maybe after Luke crashes, and because you see like the leg of the AT-AT getting ready to stomp down. A couple snow speeders flying around, so that's pretty cool. Pretty neat. We'll go ahead and stick that over here. All right. What else is in here? What are these? Look like magnets. Got some magnets. They look like cookie characters. Cookie character magnets. Guess I'm opening this up wrong. There we go. All right, cookie character magnets. So we got Chewy. See, they look like cookies. They have little gingerbread cookies. Chewy, C-3PO, R2-D2, and a little Yoda with a little walking stick. Are kind of like Christmas themed, I guess, because they're like gingerbread cookies. So the little Yoda has a little candy cane for his staff. So that's pretty neat. They're a little fun little characters. Could be something that if I really didn't want them, I could give them away. Pretty neat. Pins. So I'm not a big pin person, but it's a pretty cool pin. I don't actually have anything for Life Day. It looks like this is a Life Day pin. So a Life Day orb pin. Pretty neat. Yeah, it says Life Day in Arabesh and in Basic, so that's pretty neat. And then lastly, again, I guess thinking about the time of year, and then also, it's winter time and Empire Strikes Back theming. This looks really cool. Super excited about this. This is definitely something that box down here. I don't want styrofoam to go everywhere. I don't like styrofoam that much. Oh my goodness. Wish I had a knife. I don't have a knife. Very delicate. I don't want to I guess I could use my teeth, right? There we go. See, that's why God gave me teeth. Open up packages. All right, this is really cool. Very well quality made. This is probably the best thing in the box, I'm gonna say. So it's a snow globe. A snow globe with the Wampa. So the Wampa attacking Luke, which is really hard to see. But as it starts to fade away, you can see the Wampa in the background and the Tauntaun in the front. Kind of hard to see on camera, but I don't know if that's just a little decal on there. Oh yeah, that's not really that great. I don't like the little sticker on the front. That's basically all that is on the front, is a sticker. But it's okay. Pretty cool. I like it. We'll set that over here for now. But yeah, cool little box from this culture fly. Pretty neat. Interesting little things. I like interesting collectibles. So I like stuff that's unusual. So that's pretty cool. So that's some cool stuff that I just got. All right, so let's talk about the Phantom Menace for a little bit, and the dark days of not having Star Wars. Man, so I was born in 1979, so I didn't see the original in the theater. I grew up pretty much with Star Wars. I've talked about that before. Basically, my brother was old enough where he was there, saw the movies, and yeah, so up with the films, grew up with the toys, really enjoyed all that, playing with the action figures, everything. Didn't see any of my first film that I saw was Return of the Jedi. So Return of the Jedi, I remember seeing very, very, very young when I saw that. And it was a lot of fun. I'm just hoping that my camera's had getting a little wonky right now, so I'm just really curious as to what's going on here, just so everybody knows. Don't know what's going on. Want to make sure that everybody can still, yeah, okay, everybody can hear me and everything. I just wanted to test that real quick because my camera is going a little bit wonky, and I don't want anything to like shut down on me. But yeah, it's getting a little fluttery. Don't know why that is. But yeah, so Return of the Jedi, saw that, and then that's when I kind of started collecting figures. I remember my first action figure that I got when I was little was a little Tebow Ewok. That was my first one. Um, yeah, don't know what's going on with my camera, so I apologize about that this time. But was really into collecting, um, and I got a bunch of really cool stuff when I was younger. I still have a lot of it. The action figures, a lot of them, lost, broken, heads came off, all that good stuff. Um, and there was a lot of good years after Return of the Jedi. Going to the store, I always looked forward to going to whatever, wherever, Kmart, whatever it was, KMB, Toy Store, anywhere, Toys R Us that sold um, Star Wars action figures, and always begging to get an action figure or a vehicle. If we could, get a vehicle, that would be amazing. And I got a lot of like cool vehicles. I was big on like vehicles and play sets, which I have the Ewok Village and Jabba the Hutt play set, and um, the Imperial Shuttle, B-wing fighter, TIE Interceptor, A-wing, all those good things. Which I still have a lot of those, which is really cool. They're in rough shape, but it was a lot of fun collecting that kind of stuff in the play sets. And um, but then things started like disappearing. They stopped making the action figures. It was harder and harder to find them. I remember going to the toy stores and still like trying to find them. Looking on like the top shelves, and like you always had heard those rumors from like friends. Oh, I went to this place in this mall, and there was they have this box that's like up. You just always got to ask, what's up there, because they won't put it out because nobody's like, it's not a priority item. So you just had to like ask all the time, and sometimes that was like totally true. You went into a place and you saw like Star Wars that was like just like up on the top shelf, and sometimes you got it for pretty good deals. And um so that was just like amazing. Like it's just like one of those things where we were just desperate to find the last bit of Star Wars merchandise, and then it just went away. You couldn't find it anymore unless you went to, yard sales, flea markets, um, secondhand stores, and as far as that, it was all at that point in time. It was out of the box type of deal, which was unfortunate. Already played with stuff, didn't have all the little accessories that came with the action figures and so forth, um, and that's all we had, and we just had to deal with it. And then there wasn't anything, so that was it. It was the trilogy. We thought that was it, nothing else. Um, there wasn't really any other avenues of entertainment for Star Wars to go to. Um, I had a Nintendo Entertainment System. I remember getting the Star Wars video game. That was, but quality was really hard. It was tough to play. Yeah, I wasn't really big into video games, so it was kind of a little bit disappointing to say the least as far as that goes. But eventually, it took time, but almost, was it 12 years after, in 19, I think 91 was when Heir to the Empire came out, and that was like I remember seeing that book for the first time, like walking through, um, not really, it wasn't like a Costco, but like a BJ's, like a warehouse wholesale store, and like seeing that book, and it was in that New York Times bestseller section because it was getting a lot of play, and like I new Star Wars content, new stories after the Return of the Jedi. What happened after the Return of the Jedi? And I remember picking, and I wasn't even a big reader, but I was so thirsty for Star Wars content that it was like, I got to get this book. And I read that book so fast. Because it, it was new Star Wars content, and I love that story, and I couldn't wait for the next one to come out, and the next one. That trilogy just blew my mind. So it was great to have Star Wars content back. There was all these rumors: is there going to be more movies? Is this something now Lucasfilm? Maybe maybe this was supposed to be the continuation of the story. What does this mean? And then there were rumors. There were rumors that possibly George Lucas was thinking about making more movies. And then we had the special editions that started getting made. Why were they getting made? Is this like test runs for new digital creation, which kind of basically it was supposed to be George Lucas's original ideas for what some of the scenes were, and some of us were happy about that, some of us weren't. Honestly, going back on it, I'm okay with the special editions. I like the originals. I can watch either or. They are very well cleaned up and polished, so it's great to have nice, um, not really rough looking cuts of the films. They look beautiful now. Some things got changed, which was a little bit upsetting, but we dealt with that. Um, so yeah, so we had the special editions come out. I remember going to see them in the theaters, which for me, that was the first time I ever saw A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back in the theaters that I can remember. Going back and seeing Return of the Jedi on the big screen was amazing. And then we got word that we had new movies coming out. So, The Phantom Menace. So now something new, Star Wars on the screen. And I remember going and buying tickets to movie theaters just to see the trailer. Literally walking in, watching the trailer, and leaving. Um, I remember seeing The Phantom Menace probably about 11 or 12 times during its opening week. I think I saw it 4 times within the first 2 days. Um, I was super excited and I couldn't get enough of it. I didn't see anything wrong with it at all. It wasn't until like after everything kind of settled down that I really started kind of nitpicking it a little bit and was like, oh yeah, Jar Jar Binks, not too crazy about him. But you know what? Going back, looking on it, I'm totally fine with it. I saw the characters and I saw, when my nephew was the age I was when I saw Return of the Jedi, watching it, and, how his face lit up with those types of characters that made him laugh. A new generation of Star Wars fans is what that was catering to. That's what George Lucas does. And he's a great storyteller in that way. And the Phantom Menace had some amazing parts. I mean, the pod racing scene was outstanding. I can't get enough of the pod racing scene. I can watch that over and over and over again. It's an awesome. It's just amazing. I mean, and it takes you back to what George Lucas he wanted on the films, like drag racing, which is what he loved, race cars, cars in general, and that's what it's racing cars. It's racing pods. So very similar to that, bringing that authenticity to life on the screen in a science fiction storytelling universe. So really fun. I love those scenes. I love the battle at the end is amazing. Duel of the Fates, one of the best scores of the films in its entirety. Beautifully written by John Williams. Um, Lots and lots of that film, just amazing. So yeah, you can pick apart some little nuances that was Jake Lloyd the best child actor? You know what? It's hard to get great child actors. It's hard to get to direct a child. Um, Everything about that movie, though, Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, great cast choices. We got to see some awesome Jedi Knights of the Old Republic. Yoda didn't look the best at first. I'm so glad that they digitally redid that. He looks so much better as a digital character than the puppet that they created. So digital sometimes is a savior for us. We love that. Um, Again, Jar Jar not the best, um, but he's there for a purpose. And we got to see Jabba, we got to see characters come back. Sabalba is a lot of fun. He's popping up on my screen right now. Um, it's just a really great storytelling and a great going back to introduction of Star Wars. We went through those dark times. I'm happy that we got to have renewed Star Wars, and it kind of awakened for us at that time. We got to see where it all started with Anakin, which is great. Um, and Darth Maul, one of the most amazing characters as far as a Sith, uh, just brilliant. And of course, look what's happened to that character in the expanded universe with the Clone Wars and Rebels and showing up in Solo and everywhere else. And who knows where else we might see him in the future. And um, yeah, I love the Phantom Menace, so it's great. Love the prequels going back as in its entirety. Because yeah, I mean, without it, Star Wars wouldn't have continued, and it did, and it brought about a lot more expanded universe, more storytelling within books, comics. A lot of that has been retconned now since Disney took over, but um, it paved the way. Who knows if we would even have Disney owning Star Wars and everything that we have today if it weren't for the prequels and those getting made. Um, so yeah, I love the prequels. I enjoy watching them all the time. I see different things from them every time I watch them from different perspectives. As new content comes out and you go back and you watch, uh, you see different characters or different themes developing after you see certain series. After watching Andor and then going back, um, you see the political side a little bit differently because you see things told before the stories that we're watching now. So it's great. So, and it's the earliest. The Phantom Menace is the earliest live action that we have right now until the Acolyte. So, which will be, I'm sure, will be great. I'm super excited about that. That's going to be coming out. So, can't wait for that to actually happen. So, so yeah, that's my thoughts on the Phantom Menace and those dark times that we went through and how we got to have that all woken up for us in that way. This thing's very warm, by the way. I'm like toasty now. Pretty cool. So I'm loving this little Jedi robe. Um, so that kind of brings me to my crucial character pick for this episode. And that actually is going to be a pod racer. So the pod racer by the name of Rats Tyrell. Rats Tyrell. So Rats Tyrell, he's like that amphibious looking pod racer, really big pod racer he had. And he's the one, just so everybody knows, got to get a context of him. He's the one that during the pod race, you get into the cavern scene, and he's the one that kind of loses control and then like goes, and then he just like crashes his pod race and it goes into flames within the caves. So that's the dude. So just kind of like going through some of the stuff that I like was kind of reading about with him. Um, so apparently he's an Alina is his species from the planet Aline. If I'm saying any of this wrong, I apologize. I'm not the greatest as far as pronunciation with characters and planets and all that good stuff. Um, but he was really tiny, and you can see that from the films. He's a tiny little dude, but he has that huge pod racer with like really big engines. Um, so yeah. Um, Apparently, he was very popular on his home world for being a pod racer. Um, Started traveling to the Outer Rim and so forth. So that's how he got on Tatooine to be into the Boot to Eve Classic, which is Tatooine's biggest, um, largest annual pod race. So that's why he was on Tatooine. Um, shortly before the race, his wife gave birth to a third child. So he was a new daddy. New daddy. Um, probably trying to make his way in the universe. Another one of those stories where you have this character that's a backstory that's just there doing his thing, you know, and lots of backstory there. We don't know much about him, and then unfortunate things happen while we get to see him on screen. His main goal was basically to beat Sabalba. He wanted to be champion. So Sabalba at that time was the reigning champion, and that was his goal, of course, with everybody else that's racing, is to be the champion. Of course, we know that Sabalba loved to cheat. Don't know if that had any impact on why he crashed, but there's a possibility. Um, we actually see him getting the parts ready beforehand, I believe. I haven't got to the scene yet, but I'm pretty sure that you can actually, there's the EOPs, the little camel-like things, carrying the vehicle out to the starting grid. You kind of see that, I think, in the background, pretty sure, when they get to the Mos Espa Grand Arena. He was in the front row starting. So you can, if you're kind of looking for him, you can see that he's in the front row. He was in between Sabalba's pod and Mohanic's pod. I think Mohanic was the, I can't remember their species, the ones with the three eyes. And then, yeah, he's introduced by Fodi and Bede, the announcers, during the opening ceremonies. They actually announce his newborn baby, which I didn't realize. I don't know if they do that in a different language or what, but apparently they announce his newborn baby. Once all the introductions, then they introduce Jabba the Hutt and all that in the start of the race, and then the competition's off. So apparently he started off, good start. He was in the front row, but then he kind of eventually fell back to the middle of the pack. And then that's when into the Laguna Caves is what they were actually called, the Laguna Caves. That's when his accelerator jammed, apparently. So was it foul play? Was that something that Sabalba did something to his pod racer? Don't know. But his accelerator jammed while he was distracted by another pilot. And then he couldn't get out of the way because his controls were broken. And then, screaming frantically, he sped into a group of stalactites, and his pod exploded, and unfortunately, he died. Rats Tyrell. Even if he would have survived, interesting thing, he probably would have not gotten any help from the rescue teams, because apparently those caves were inhabited by crate dragons, which I didn't realize. So they were actually flying through caves of crate dragons at that point, which wonder if those are the same caves that the crate dragon was in the book of Mandalorian. When the Mandalorian helps the Tusken Raiders, right? Yeah, the Tusken Raiders kill the crate dragon. I gotta watch that episode again. That was a good episode. So also apparently after the pod race, you can see Tyrell's family grieving after the race, which I have never noticed. So I'm actually curious to see that part. I'm going to be really looking closely at the Phantom Menace today and watching it to kind of get a little bit more input on little Rats Tyrell there, though. But his pod race, like that, when he dies, that always like kind of like stood out to me, because his screaming, and it's just kind of like, oh, poor little guy. Kind of reminds me of like Babu Frick, but I know it's a different species, but little guy, always got to root for the little guys. I'm a little guy, so we root for the little guys. Apparently after his death, his son Deland Tyrell went on to found the Rats Tyrell Foundation, back on their planet, and it was an organization that sought to expose the dangerous and criminal aspects that surrounded the profession of pod racing. And due to the Foundation's campaigning, the sport was eventually outlawed in the core worlds, and viewership dropped by more than 50%. So I guess that's why we don't really hear too much about pod racing once Luke is there, because of his son and the death of his father and what he did for the sport of pod racing. I mean, even by the time of Revenge of the Sith, I mean, you still see pod racing if you go when they go into the bar. Or that was in Attack of the Clones. When they go into the bar, Anakin and Obi-Wan, in Coruscant, you can see pod racing happening there. So, it's still being done there. But by the time we get to A New Hope, nobody talks about pod racing anymore. So it's kind of done away with because of the dangerousness of it. So again, he was pretty big on his theatrics. Big pod racer. When he's announced, he gives out a big scream to the crowd. He was only 0.79 meters in height, so little tiny guy. And yeah, so a little bit behind the scenes on him. He was the earliest production of him sketches was in 1996. He was just simply labeled as a pod racer with a long head, later nicknamed Amphibian. Then in 1997, they finally gave him the name with some sketches of Rats Tyrell. All of his other children were named in later sources, but all that's kind of legends now. So some of the stuff that has to do with his son and everything, that's all legends. But it still makes for a good story of why we don't really hear about pod racing anymore. Now, as far as merchandise, there is an action figure for Rats Tyrell. So there's action figure for Star Wars The Phantom Menace. It's not the original waves that came out. These ones came out a little bit later. I don't know the year, but it was a nice character debut, never before offered as a figure later on. It was him as well as a pit droid, so it was a 2-pack because they're so tiny. He's so tiny. He's even smaller than a pit droid. So, and it's got his little hat with his little goggles and then a little gun. So that was with the Kenner action figures, the Phantom Menace, Star Wars card back. There's also some mention of him on some t-shirts, which is pretty cool. Some of the pod racing t-shirts. If I ever see these t-shirts anywhere for cheap, I might get them. There's a really cool Jabba the Hutt presents pod racing, and it actually has a featuring, and it names all the pod racers. So that's got his name on it. And then also there's a really cool pod race t-shirt. But that doesn't have him on it. There was another one, I think it said Boonty Classic, that I found. I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool t-shirt. I can't find it anymore. But there was another cool t-shirt with like the Boonty Classic on it. Yeah, here it is. Or no, it says Anakin versus Sebulba. That's what it was. It was an Anakin versus Sebulba t-shirt. It's pretty neat. It looks like it was from Kohl's. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's from Kohl's. It's a white T-shirt. I can't expand it, but yeah, and it's got like featuring, and it has all the different pod racers on there listed. So that's a pretty neat one. If I saw that anywhere, I'd totally get that one. Yeah, it says Boonta Eve Pod Race, Tatooine Mos Espa Grand Arena. That's a pretty neat one. I like that one. $25 from Kohl's. Looks like you can still buy it like right now. That's pretty neat. Anyway, um, so yeah, I love like looking for like merch with like some of these characters, but yeah, so that's my crucial character of the month. If I ever get a chance, I'm gonna get some Rats Tyrell action figures or merch if I ever see any. So along with some of the other ones that I've been mentioning. So again, a little bit of rehash. Dianoga we've gone through. We talked about the Dianoga from episode 4. We talked about Terran Far from Empire Strikes Back, the Rebel from the Hoth space station that manned the ion cannon. We talked about Pote Snicken. I believe that's the name. I'm pronouncing it probably wrong, but he was the skiff guard operator during Jabba's encounter with Luke Skywalker at the Sarlacc. Yeah, he was the one that was driving the skiff, that not the one that Luke was on, the other one, the support skiff. So, and then now Rats Tyrell is my crucial character for episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Love the little guys. Let's go for the little guys. Um, let's talk quick about Willow. I'm getting pretty long in this, so I like to keep these things at an hour. So I'm going to kind of try to wrap this up pretty quick. We'll talk a little bit about Willow though. The last 2 episodes of Willow. So episode 4 and episode 5. Episode 4 took a little bit of dark turn. Kind of liked it. The Whispers of Nockmaar. Nockmaar was the castle that Bavmorda was in at the end of the original Willow. That's where kind of the showdown was in the movie. So really dark turn there, kind of a haunted castle that they're seeking journey in. Kind of fighting their demons in that way, with some flashbacks and things that are going on. What they're battling, each of the characters. Allura kind of saves the day in that one, which is really cool. She's kind of getting to be her own character as far as like learning the magic and taking it, kind of like really just taking a stand for like Willow's training and kind of just saying I can do this, and she's realizing that really she needs to put her heart into it, and she ends up saving Graydon. At least that's what we are gathering at that point in time. So I thought it was a pretty great episode. Really dark. I'm not really big on dark episodes, but it was dark and interesting and had some really good story developments in that. And then episode 5 that we had last week, Wildwood. Wildwood was the forest that they're referring to, that kind of nobody likes to go to because it has the Bone Ravers. So they're trying to escape. It started off with with a battle in the beginning. Oh, the Nockmaar one. Awesome. Black Hole Sun was the song at the end, which was amazing. But Wildwood starts off, and this time they're actually throwing the music in the middle of the episode. I don't know if I really like that or not, but a little bit of a twist there. Throwing the modern music in the middle of the episode. Didn't really like that too much. And then, yeah, so we go into the Wildwood Forest. Little bit of weird flashbacks with Borman once they had encountered the Bone Reavers, and like kind of like where he's been, why he left them, because apparently he was part of the Bone Reavers, and yeah, weird campy humor going on there. The waterfall scene, I don't know how I felt about that. I laughed, but I don't know. It was kind of weird. Yeah, so I liked the way it developed. I mean, I was a little disappointed also with the brownies. They show up. It wasn't a lot though, and I was kind of disappointed that there's probably not going to be any more of them. Um, it was kind of just like, hey, let's throw them in there because everybody's going to want to see them. So fan service. So a little disappointed about the lack of brownies that's probably going to be in um, Willow. So I was a little disappointed in the last episode of Wildwood. Um, Things happened that I liked, but the overall story to me was a letdown. Probably one of my least favorite episodes so far was last week's episode of Wildwood. So hopefully that turns around and we go back into a better direction for Willow. Um, but yeah, so those are my just quick thoughts on Willow as that played out for those last two episodes. Um, Other than that, the only other thing that I kind of want to talk about before I head out. So this is going to be my last podcast for the year. So we're going to try to hopefully start off strong in 2023. Hopefully, I can get a better schedule. That's one of my plans is to have a better schedule going so that I can plan these things out. Um, I would love to get some sort of like intro thing going for this, and I have somebody possibly working on helping me with that and getting that going for me. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with 2023. We got Star Wars Celebration coming. We got lots of new Star Wars content. Bad Batch. Maybe by the time my next episode, Bad Batch episode 1, actually a couple episodes because I think it's going to drop a couple episodes. So we'll be talking about Bad Batch maybe for the next time I do my next live stream. So look out for that. I went and saw Avatar this weekend. A little bit outside of Star Wars universe. It was I liked it. I thought it wasn't that bad. I didn't feel that it was too long. I was entertained the entire time. I thought it was visually amazing. It had a really good beginning, middle, and end. Um, don't really know if from the ending of it, if I like where they're gonna, take it with, the same bad guy maybe all the way through. I was hoping for maybe something a little bit different, a little bit more depth to the struggles. But I thought it ended well. And yeah, I recommend going and seeing it. It's definitely something you got to see in the theater with 3D as far as that kind of movie goes. So it was a great movie. But other than that, everything's great. I can't wait to see you all again. If you have any interesting thoughts of whatever I've discussed here this evening, please leave them in the comments. And this will be posted up on my Spotify and Google Podcast if you would like to listen to it later. Unfortunately, you will not get the aspect of the unboxing and get to see some of the content that I received and some of the gifts I received. But if you're hearing this, you can head over to my YouTube channel, The Crucial Crew Member, and watch it live again. Again, I apologize for my camera this evening. It is kind of staticky, but you know what? Makes for some pretty interesting fun theming going on. Whatever. The force is not with my camera tonight. It might be my port, honestly. We're gonna have to check that out. Maybe I need to use a different port for my camera. Maybe that USB port is not going well. Yeah. So, but I hope everybody had a great holiday, or is maybe still having a great holiday off. Who knows? Maybe you're off for until the end of the year. That's great. Spending time with family, whatever you like to do. Yeah, so we'll catch you back in 2023. So with that being said, if you don't already follow me, Instagram, The Crucial Crew Member, Twitter, Crucial Crew 2021 and my YouTube channel here, the Crucial Crew member. Please sign up, follow me. And also Google Podcasts, Spotify is where you can find the Space Oats podcast, which will be posted within the next few days. So again, have a great night. Have a great week. Have a great rest of the year. And we'll see you next year. May the stars light your way.